I tell you what, you travel through Texas, ladies and gentlemen, and all of a sudden you come up to somebody interesting. And for Ohio State fans especially, I'm standing in front of a couple of guys that Ohio State's got interest in. Robert Irvin, the head coach at Veterans Memorial High School, basically northeast of San Antonio, Texas. Welcome to the Tim May Show.
Well, thank you for having us.
And you got James Peoples here. The main reason I'm here is the People's Choice. James Peoples, running back for Veterans Memorial High School. He's whittled his list down to 6 people, or 6 schools. One of them happens to be Ohio State. James Peoples, welcome to the Tim May Show.
Hey, hello. Thank you for having me, sir.
Hey, by the way, are you number 20?
I am number 20.
Yeah, I noticed that hanging around your neck. Yeah.
Yep.
But I decided I was down here and I was visiting my younger brother. I call him my baby brother, but he's 65. You know what I mean? So he's getting up there. So am I. But I thought I'd just drop by here because to me it exemplifies the reach of Ohio State football at the moment. And then it also exemplifies the modern world, whereas you're interested in Ohio State.
Yes, sir.
James Peoples, explain what's the interest in Ohio State? Why did they make your top 6?
They made my top 6 because of how personable the coaching staff has been with me and how in-depth conversations I've had with Coach Alford, us speaking with each other, the outreach he's had on my family and the effect he's had in my life, really with us talking ball, personal stuff, meeting my family, just like overall, it's the relationship factor to people that made it special about Ohio State, and not just Coach Alford, but to Coach Hartline, Coach Day. The whole coach staff is amazing, top to bottom, and I've been so grateful to have the opportunity to be recruited by them and to learn what their interests are in me and what they could offer me, and likewise what I can offer them. So it's been a great relationship building that we are continuing to build, and I'm excited to go up there. Really,
Coach Irvin, you've been here for a little bit. What is it like to have a player? Obviously, you've had players recruited. What's it like, for example, to have a player of this magnitude being recruited by these big-time schools? I'm not going to name the other. Obviously, one of the 6 is Texas, which is right up the road here.
Well, obviously, it's a blessing to have a guy like James on our team. Not just because of his talent, but he's a great human being first and foremost. He's an excellent student in the classroom. So, he's not just a football player. He's a great human being that just happens to also be an excellent football player too. So, he's definitely a joy to coach. We coach him hard, and he does a great job in receiving tough coaching sometimes. And he's a leader on our team, and we're just thankful to have him.
And by the way, speaking of coaching them hard, y'all just got out of boot camp.
we did.
The first of many days of boot camp. James, what's it like to be a football player, high school football player in the state of Texas? It kind of never ends, does it?
It never ends. I'll tell you that. The work is year-round, and with our program and how the coaches, how hard they are on us, we always are putting the work in. For the moment the pads come off, we going into off-season, we hitting weights, things like that. It's down here, I know it's different probably up north, but down here, football is year-round. You are either on the field, you're in the weight room, you are doing maybe other drills on the field or whatever the case may be, but there's always work being put in. You're constantly working, constantly getting better. So yeah, football down here down south is a little different because it's year round. It's a different type of level of work, I'd say.
My man, you're saying all that and you've got a smile on your face. What is it? What is it about this game that's so attractive to you?
This game offers me literally so much, but not just of the athletic awards and the byproduct of what my work is, but I say really the people and the relationships, like my coach right here, a really special person, and his son, just how his son looks up to me and stuff like that. It offers you something more than just football, and I say that's really what I love about it. It's a family-oriented sport with my teammates and my brothers that we go into work. We just got out of boot camp, us oh man, tired, sweating and all that. It offers you that family commodity, and I think that's really the big part of why I love this sport, other than, of course, the field, the Friday night lights, running that ball for touchdowns, to be able to celebrate with my friends and my brothers. So it offers me so much, and I think that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, and I invite people to, after they're done watching the Tim May Show, put on the huddle highlights from your junior season. As I said, you look like you've been shot out of a cannon about 1,000 times. That's got to be cool to see. Nothing but daylight as you're looking at today, or green grass ahead of you, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Can you put that feeling into words?
I say after my boys up front, after they clear that hole and it is green grass, I am looking at, I'm like, okay, let's make it a point A to go and be as fast as we can. I'm looking around, making sure nobody's around me that could possibly stop me from getting to that goal. But it's just an overall great feeling. I can't really put it into words. It's my mind's going so fast, and it has one objective, which is get to that end zone. So I'm thinking, just run, I guess, just run.
Yeah. I was going to say, Coach, when you have a special player like this, so What is your obligation or your responsibility to him? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, obviously he's being heavily recruited by big-time programs. Just what do you feel like your responsibility is to him?
Well, I think James kind of said it best a minute ago. We have a real family atmosphere here, and you know, I'm very fortunate that we've got a staff full of coaches that are really like father figures to the young men on our team. And so, you know, we feel the weight of the responsibility for all of them, that what we do every day affects their lives, and not just in the moment, but going forward. And we want them all to be great husbands and great fathers and those kind of things when they leave here. You know, and there's a little more with James, obviously, with the recruiting process and all that. But, you know, it's a great, quote-unquote, problem to have as a coach, yeah. You know, when you have a young man of James' caliber to be able to help him, you know, figure out this process. I told every coach that came into our office, my job is to take care of this young man and help him and his family make the best decision for him. And, you know, that's what my job is to take care of him, to take care of his family, and make sure they make a good choice so that when James does decide and picks a place that he's going to be, that he'll be there and be committed, and he's going to go and work like he works here, and he's going to be a big part of the program.
Hey, James, explain to people, number one, Ohio State's been one of the top elite programs in the country now for a long, long time, but especially recently. Explain to them where your interest kind of came from, because number one, you could go almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Or anywhere.
Yes, sir.
But number two, your parents, explain that tie your parents have to the state of Ohio.
Okay, well, I'll say this. My parents, they both, their roots are deep in Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio, and Youngstown, Ohio. They grew up there, as well as the rest of my family is up in Ohio right there. And, I mean, that's where their roots are. They went there. I mean, family's up there. So, I mean, it's only about an hour and a half, I think, from Columbus. So the connections that are there, if I do go to Ohio State and things like that, would be really close to my family.
Yeah.
If I had to say, per se, my family. You asked me another question, sir. You said something about what sparked my interest in Ohio State or something like that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my interest originally sparked when I was little, I always loved Ohio State. My family was up there. I go up there, we see games and stuff like that. But besides of that, being a fan, as me being an athlete and what I'm looking at, really what their facility and coaching staff really can offer me. When I go there, support system, they offer, of course, NIL, but also supportive people put in place for me academically, athletically. They offer a family base like we have here. You want to go somewhere you feel like it's a family, that they accept you, that they help nurture you, grow you as a man, as an athlete. And I think that's what Ohio State is doing and what they've done with their athletes. So, as well as them being very successful, of course, besides of their success, like in the running back position, of course, and recovery is elite. Everything like that is elite. There's a lot of things I'm looking at, and they're overall an elite program.
Have you been to a game there at Ohio Stadium?
I've never been to a game at Ohio State. Only watched it on TV.
Gotcha. But who's the number one running back that you've seen play for Ohio State? Because I keep time flies when you're my age, my man. But when you were, how old are you now?
I am 17.
So when you were like 7, 8, 9 years old, Zeke Elliott was the running back at Ohio State.
He was the running back. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that grab your interest? I mean, and obviously he's playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, see, I like, people think, Ohio State just came down here and like a man from the moon and picked out, we're going to recruit James Peoples, but they look for those kind of connections, don't they? That.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of got that started with Ohio State a little far back into the summer, where I went up to a camp, had a little conversation with Coach Alford. He got me up there for a little unofficial visit. He did the camp, did really great, did my best there. Came back, and I kind of that's where my process with Ohio State kind of really got started as well.
Yeah.
But I'd say, of course, when I was growing up, Ezekiel Elliott, he was that back. I was looking at Ohio State, I'm like, oh my goodness, who is this guy? He running it up on Alabama and all those games I was watching. He was that bell cow for Ohio State around that time. So.
Yeah, and it means something to a young man when his mom and dad are rooting for the team you're watching on television, doesn't it? I mean, they were, weren't they?
They were rooting. But yeah,
rooting,
they were rooting for them. I mean, it can mean something, yes, but ultimately with this right now, it's kind of like, okay, these are the things that you're looking at right now. We want to make sure wherever you go is a place you feel comfortable for these 4 years, and where you can lay your head down and rest and feel good about your decision. So wherever that is, Jay, we're good with you. Besides of us, of course, them loving Ohio State, where can you lay your head down and rest and be comfortable where you're at?
As soon as I'm done with this interview, I'm headed back to LaGrange, because that's where my baby brother, he's 65. But my baby brother has a place. We're going to play golf. And but my point is, J.K. Dobbins is from LaGrange, Texas.
Yeah.
And But it just, like I was talking with your Coach Irvin about this, it shows you can leave here and go to Ohio State and be accepted right away, right? I mean, obviously JK started his first game as a freshman. A lot of happenstance there, but he did start his first game at Indiana. Remember, like it was 5 minutes ago. So I guess what I'm saying is leaving here and going to Ohio State isn't as big a deal as it might have been 50 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you have family there. You've seen people flourish from here that have gone there, right?
Absolutely.
And what does that mean to you, that aspect of it, that you would probably be, I'm talking to you, obviously you're looking at all these schools. I'm not discounting anybody else, but the fact you could go to an Ohio State from Veterans Memorial High School in San Antonio and no one blinked their eye.
Well, I mean, honestly, I just think where I was at, I always knew I was capable of like kind of achieving the impossible, or some as may think as the impossible. Because you're right. I mean, it's not as uncommon, but it still is uncommon, and it is a blessing to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
I see it as something that's also obviously like a really big achievement, and to be able to go from here all the way up to Ohio State. I mean, it's never like something that I can just brush off and be like, oh, it's not that big. I mean, it is a huge achievement.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing, of course, people that have done it, that are come from Texas, it is I guess a leg up or a step up to like know that hey, yeah, you can do that. And of course, J.K. Dobbins is amazing back in the NFL right now, coming from my home state right now. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's I guess a little bit of
Proof,
right, or excitement that you can say that adds to that.
Yeah. Hey, Coach, I was wondering, when you're talking with James, and he brings up Ohio State, do you want to make sure he's actually serious about it? You understand what I'm saying? That y'all aren't wasting people's time. I mean, how does that kind of go?
Well, there were many schools that were recruiting James.
Yeah.
And when the process of him narrowing things down was something we started to have conversations about, I just counseled James that the right way to do that was, to kind of quiet the noise, to help him kind of be more focused on the schools that he was really interested in. So we sat down and we just put together the list, kind of talking it out. And obviously it was all him. And I was just kind of, asking him questions and things like that to try to guide his thoughts. But once he decided, I said the right way to do this is we're going to make phone calls to everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna send text messages or put it on Twitter first. We're gonna, my personal belief that's the right way to handle that. And there were some tough conversations for a 17-year-old young man, but to his credit, he had the courage to do it, and we did it in my office, and we called people, and he thanked them for recruiting him, but that he was going to narrow his list down, and they weren't on it. And,
yeah.
And the coaches were very receptive of that. The feedback that he got from that was really high quality, and I just thought it was a good opportunity for James to understand the gravity of everything that's going on, and give him a chance to do things the right way, which he's always done.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of good feedback when we were able to do that.
I was going to say, though, James, when you're a blue chipper, that's a long list of guys to call. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
It was, wasn't it? I mean,
it was, yeah.
But how many of them told you, okay, boy, you're a good guy, whatever. Hey, but we're going to keep recruiting you.
Well, I mean, I don't want to pretty much let that be known. What colleges have done that, how many people did that, but there were a few, of course.
Yeah, of course, because it's competitive, right?
It is competitive, right?
In your mind, when did you realize that you were this maybe cut above football player? I'm going to ask your coach the same question, but when did it become obvious to you that your feet could take you places?
Honestly, I mean, ever since I was little, people told me I was special, and it came from some special people in my life. And I'd say I always knew that I had the capability. I would go to camps. I would test my athleticism against some of the top people in the nation. Even before I was ranked, like my freshman, sophomore year, going to the Under Armour All-American camp, going against these 4-star, 5-stars before I had any offers, any rank, and I'm hanging with them. I'm like, I think I got a little talent. You know what I mean? I got some little talent, just like a kid from Texas. You know what I mean? So I've always had that confidence about myself. I say I never wasn't unconfident in my athleticism. I was just confident, and I was just waiting to burst and really show these people that are all around the nation, hey, I'm James Peoples, I can do this. Like, here's my name, make a name for myself. And I think where I've gotten in my recruit process has really just been shown to the public the work I've been putting in since I was little.
Yeah.
And ever since I came to Veterans, it's just now proof to everybody else that, hey, okay, yeah, he's doing this right now. And it's my proof.
Coach, when I watch him on video, what stands out to me is, number one, he makes a quick decision, and then he explodes through the hole or wherever, the crease. him being a great guy aside, what makes him stand out as a football player? Why are these big time schools after him as a difference maker?
Okay. Well, James is a great downhill runner, very strong. He can run through contact, but at the same time, he has pretty elite speed, so he can get the edge as well. On top of that, he's an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield, or sometimes we'll put him in the slot and run vertical routes, and things like that. And he's just got unbelievable hands. When the ball's in the air, he does a great job positioning his body to catch the ball. So really, in my opinion, just a really complete player as an offensive weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say, James, your top end is cool to watch.
Thank you.
I mean, it's I'm not trying to, I am here and I am blowing smoke a little bit because I'm here, but your top end is cool to watch. Hey, last thing, what's going to be sort of your process here? Could you make up your mind a week from now, a month from now? Are you going to go? Have you determined that you're going to see the world a little bit before you understand what I mean? Check these teams out, et cetera, before you make up your mind.
Before I make up my mind, I do want to visit a few schools first, and just to be able to get a feel for the campus, you know what I mean? Because I think that you being in that environment and being able to meet those people can be a deal breaker, or it can be a game changer for your recruitment. So I do want to kind of course, take some visits out, see some of these universities, and I'm not going to be rushing this process at all. If I feel like this may be the spot, and I go up to a place and I talk to all my parents, with my coach and everything, I feel like, hey, I think this is the spot, and they check off everything on my list, that's where I'm going to go to. I say there's not a definite time that I will be able to, that I am going to be committing, but whenever I know it's time, I'll bring it to the people, like I said, and I'll be like, hey, this is where I want to go. Preferably, I want to do it before my senior football season, but I'm not rushing it at all. So.
All right, you're extremely well spoken. I'm sure you haven't heard that before, meaning I would think the modern athlete has NIL somewhere in his brain, NIL opportunities, name, image, and likeness. Do you look at those things too?
Absolutely, I do look at those things. College football has changed. I mean, that's something that is only pretty much beneficial to me, and me being able to have the access to money and be able to supply myself, and not only that, but my family as well in college is something I'm definitely looking at. I mean, that's a game changer. Of course, I got to look at that as well. So that NIL matters.
Is that crazy to you that 3 years ago, you couldn't take advantage of those kind of things? Isn't that?
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
How quickly it's changed. College football has taken a turn, 180, I can say.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least maybe a 270. Who knows, right? Hey, Coach, last thing, how much have you seen James benefit? You guys down here in Texas, unlike Ohio high schools, y'all have the benefit of extensive off-season programs, including spring football. I mean, obviously, as you and I were talking about before we started this, you opt not to go to the full padded option in spring football just to keep guys fresh, et cetera, and build for the season and stuff. But how much of an advantage is it for a young man like this to develop with almost a year-round program?
Well, it's huge. I mean, we get to have our hands on them every day, even after football season's over. We've got a full-time strength coach that does a great job here. He designs our off-season program in the weight room and those kind of things. And so, we typically see a pretty big gain from a strength and athleticism standpoint in the off-season. Where obviously, if we weren't getting to do that every day, they wouldn't really have that opportunity to achieve that. So, for a young man like James, who's already talented, to be able to continue to develop himself and to master his craft and continue to work on being a great football player is huge. We do a lot of other things in off season, like I was mentioning to you earlier, with some character training and some mental toughness stuff with boot camp and those kind of things, because we feel like all those things matter. They matter to every kid on our team, and it helps them to be better men. And some of the conversations James and I have had is, when he's in college, his mom and dad aren't going to be there. His high school coaches aren't going to be there. He's going to have some tools to draw on, some resources that he's learned, hopefully from here, to draw on to help him continue to build his work ethic, to be a good teammate, and to overcome adversity. And in the off season, we attack a lot of those things intentionally to try to help those guys build that character development in them.
Yeah, self-discipline, right? Have you seen it pay off for you?
Definitely,
James?
And definitely, it definitely pays off in all aspects, not just out of football, but also life.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, last thing, you're a hurdler. 110 highs?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wow. You know, as we're doing this, it's about 48 to 50 degrees here in Texas, but it usually gets hot. But what's your goal in that realm?
In the hurdling realm, I say my goal is, I was pretty new to it, but I did great. I think I made it to like area regionals or something like that. I did great in it. I'm really looking forward to probably just knocking down that time. You know, keep on getting faster, keep on. Because hurdles, it really does work on your short area burst, and that's something I liked about it. Like, you get that foot down, 1, 2, 3. You know, get up on the other one. So just getting faster, I say, with the hurdles.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest.
All right, last thing. I know I said that, but that's my calling card.
That's my calling.
Like 8 or 10 last things, but no. I was asking you a while ago when you realized, you know, you were maybe a cut above or whatever. What is it like to be fast? You've never known anything but fast. What is it like to be among the fastest, if not the fastest guy on the field?
I can't answer that one, though.
Obviously, the higher you go, the more it's populated by other fast guys, right?
Yeah. What it's like to be fast, it's an edge, I could say, like that burst when you coming out. Some of these guys that can't catch you, like my burst, I say whenever I'm like in one spot and it propels me forward and I may split safeties or something like that. I say speed is just a fun thing to have. It definitely is a blessing and it's fun, you know, because you can set people up. You could put them in like different situations that benefit you, because you can do things that some other people that don't got your speed can really do. So
in your brain, you've got another button on your controller.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right?
You turn it on and you may like kick it up a notch, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's James Peoples. Could he be the people's choice? We'll find out. And Coach Robert Irvin of Lettermen Memorial High School, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for being here.